Hi, guys. This week's story is an informational text called A Tree is a Plant. As you read this story, think about the life cycle of a tree. How does a tree start growing? What happens to a tree in the middle of its life? What kinds of things does a tree do? Let's begin. A tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them. How many of them do you know? I just love informational books because they have so many cool text features. This one has lots of labels. So when I look at the picture, there's a word next to it. That tells me that this tree is a maple tree. These trees are called conifers. This tree is persimmon. This is a palm tree. This is a willow tree. And this is a lemon tree. Have you heard of any of those kinds of trees before? This tree grows in the country. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind of tree it is? This is an apple tree. I thought it might be an apple tree because even though this is not a real photograph, the illustrator drew a picture of what an apple tree looks like. And in the picture, I saw little red fruits growing inside the tree. I also saw on this side of the page that there was an apple cut in half. This apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. Have you ever seen an apple seed? Ask an adult to help you cut an apple in two. The seeds are in the center and they look like this. So the illustrator, while it's not a photograph, did draw a picture of what apple seeds look like when they come out of the apple and when they are inside of the apple. Most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. The wind blows leaves over the seed. The wind blows soil over the seed. All winter, the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter, the seed lies under the ice and snow and is pushed deep into the ground. Spring comes, the rain falls, the sun comes out and warms the earth. The seed begins to grow. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. The tree is very small. It is only a stem with 2 leaves. It has no apples on it. The tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. Spring is apple blossom time. So first we learned that a seed was planted, either by a farmer or when a seed falls to the ground. Next, the seed sprouts, and then it grows above the ground as a small plant with a stem and 2 leaves. When the tree is older, it will grow blossoms and be taller than a person. The blossoms last only a few days. Then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the tree. Among the leaves, there are small apples. The apples are where the blossoms were before. The apples are green and they are almost too small for you to see. The apples grow slowly. They grow all during the spring and the summer. Even though it said they are almost too small for you to see, the illustrator did put little green dots in the middle of the leaves where the blossoms were. These are the apples that will begin to grow all spring and summer. In the fall, they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. We can see the bark of the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat. But there is part of the tree that we cannot see. Do you know what part of the tree we cannot see? That's a good guess. Let's read to find out. We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. The roots grow like branches under the ground. A tree could not live without roots. Do you know what roots do to help a plant grow and live? Let's read to find out. Roots hold the trunk in the ground. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. Roots do something more. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. The trunk carries the water to the branches. The branches carry the water to the leaves. Hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from water and air. They make food when the sun shines. The food goes into the branches. It goes into the trunk and roots. It goes to every part of the tree. I'm starting to make a connection. I think I've learned about plants and their parts before. Do you remember learning about the parts of a plant? I'm so glad you did. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. Hey, notice that some of the apples have landed on the ground? Do you remember what's inside the apples? Maybe those apples will become new apple trees. But it looks like a fox is going to eat that one. Now the tree is bare. All winter it looks dead. But the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. Spring comes again, rain falls, and we know what that means. Notice how the illustrator put little green dots on the end of the branches. He's trying to show us what will happen when spring comes again. The sun warms the earth. The tree blossoms and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms in the spring and apples grow on it. When do you like apple trees best? In spring when they are covered with blossoms? In the summer when they are covered with leaves? In the winter when they are bare? Or in fall when they are covered with apples? I really like in the fall when they are covered with apples, but I think my favorite is in the spring when they are covered with pretty pink blossoms. Blossoms are another name for flowers. As you read this story, I hope you thought about the sequence of events or the life cycle of an apple tree. When you go to tell someone at home about this story, make sure you use words like first, next, last. You can also use words like then and after.